Welcome to another episode of the Bazaar Over Explained. And you know what? Today, I think we can try to play a little bit of Dooley. Dooley in season 6. I think one of the most interesting changes that came to the character was how all the poison items were affected. So I'm kind of interested to see if we could try that here today. But just looking at our day one options, a strange mushroom, curio, candy stash. I normally don't like starting with curio just because I think that the gold that you put in doesn't really pay off so well for what you would need for your first fights in the early game unless you get like some very specific items. But we could definitely find some of those. I am kind of just inclined to go to the strange mushroom here and then get this small silver tier friend. And okay, charcoal. Charcoal's a pretty good one, especially for day one, I would say. So day one, hour one, now we have a really good direction to go into a friends build. So Andy could have many small friends. We'll see if we can find one. Okay, there's Wallace. There's also Flintstones, which cares about relics and tools. Well, I'm definitely going to take this Wallace. It's going to help us rank up, or I guess scale up our charcoal, I should say. I normally like taking the Flintstones here, but I've done that a lot, so I'm going to try and really go in on this charcoal. And we don't hit here, but we do see a barbed wire. We also see a plasma grenade, and this can be really nice in a slow build, which take a little bit more effort to work on Dooley, but if you do get them to work, they are super, super powerful. And this battery, a battery's always good to have, but I'm kind of looking for some better upgrades to our board. Something that even maybe like a Hamlet that synergizes well with our plasma grenade. And there is Pyro. There's also the Viper. I normally like to go to the Viper. One, you get 3 gold from it, which is pretty good. And 2, they have some of the most powerful early game items that you can have with like the Fang, the Poisonous Fang. But I have 2 good burn items. If I get a lighter, that could be interesting too. Yeah, I think if I'm going into a burn build, maybe not a poison build, we could pivot. It's going to make more sense to go for the Pyro. And ideally, I think I'm looking for this burn skill here. Also putting the cinders on our plasma grenade could be interesting. I'd love to get some more ammo on this thing, so ranking that up and leveling it up would be pretty good. And yeah, we can just see that 6 burn and 16 burn in the early game does some good stuff for us. So let's see what we get here. Okay, we get the lighter, not a bad one to have, a very fast burning item. There's a tiny free monster. We do have a friend. I would also really like to build out our board. I would not be too unhappy to put this lighter down, but with a tiny free monster and having the ability to get a specific skill, I'm going to click that. And we do see Immolating Spark. Works out well for me. I think that's going to go well on our lighter here, so let's put that on the left. Yeah, 4 burn on the 3-second cooldown seems good. And see if we can get another burn skill here. We do. We can actually upgrade our Immolating Spark. Yeah, not a bad one. I'll take it. Okay, well there's Ayla. Yeah, I'll go to Ayla here. There are some friend weapons. Power Drill. I could take this, but I've done that so many times. Let's try and do something a little bit different. I think the SMG is just good to have, so we'll take that. And then we see the rocket launcher and also the arc blaster. I'm a big fan of the rocket launcher, and that's going to actually work even better than our lighter. And what do we take off? Maybe this barbed wire? Yeah, I could see that and do something like this. So now we have a tremendous amount of burn here on this rocket launcher. It can be burning for 18 when it goes off. Okay. I'm also wondering if I put the barbed wire on the board for something else. This charcoal, I guess, is not the most impressive, but I do want to play the Wallace, and as the fight goes on, this will deal more burn. That's kind of exactly what we're doing. I think it's going to be a little bit inconsequential what I do either way, but I guess when this goes off for the first time, it's going to do 6 burn, and 6 burn is, let's see, so 6, 11, 15, 19. Yeah, so it's already going to be better than the barbed wire in terms of damage. Okay, and there's a pulse rifle too. I do like this 1-2 combo, but I'm going to try and just say that my board is good enough and fight this Dooley here. We'll see what they have. Notably, with our ranking system now here, I am only going to be facing silver and bronze tier players, so we'll see what their boards look like. They have something very similar, and they're more damage based, but when our rocket launcher goes off compared to theirs, and also our plasma grenade, I think we're going to be burning them for a tremendous amount. Yeah, 32 burn, its maximum amount there. I'm feeling pretty comfortable in this fight. They did do a lot of damage, but this rocket launcher did what it needed to do. And okay, going into day 2 here, we're certainly still on the hunt for some more friends. I guess we could go in a lot of directions with that, but we see Curio, Lickit, and Snack Time. It might seem inconsequential, but I do think not passing up on 40 max HP makes sense to me. And there's a haste item. There is kind of like a sub-synergy within the burn build that is haste focused. If we also could get a first aid in, that'd be pretty nice. And it could, so there are some good haste items that we would want. It would preserve our gold as well. So we'll go to the racetrack. We get the power sander. It's actually not a bad one. Do we want to incorporate this onto our board? I think we do. We could just go ahead and do this. So we're not getting a slow trigger, but we don't care about that. We're just hasting the item to the right of this, and this is going to be a primary damage dealer. I'm feeling relatively strong here. I think I could fight the eccentric etherite, especially with a hasted rocket launcher. Well, maybe my famous last words here, but we'll see how famous they get. Temple Expedition ticket would be great here. Force Field 2. I like the goggles a lot as well if we're going to be going into a haste synergy type build. But we'll see what we get out of all of this. Honestly, the rig skill might just be the thing that we want as well. Notably, the shielding is very good against burn damage specifically, because normally we're going to be ticking twice a second, but with shielding on, it only ticks one of its damage on the burn per second. But it doesn't really matter too much. We put 50 burn on them, and yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. Okay, we get the force field. That's a pretty nice one. It's something that we could even transform. I'd be interested in that. And looking at what's in front of us here, thinking about how we're going to be upgrading our board. I do definitely want some more friends for Charcole, but it's not necessary. I also like just getting a free relic here. Kev's Armory, I guess, synergizes pretty well with the force field, and this is a very powerful item. And I have a lot of gold to work with. I could pivot out of this build. Now we'll go to Kev's here. I don't really want to reroll very deeply here, but a copper red seems pretty nice. And induction Aegis could be interesting. It has a 7-second cooldown, which I don't like. Do I want to reroll here? That's really the bigger question. Having more friends for Charcole makes sense. I will take the reroll here. I think there's enough upside for us, and getting Chaff I think is a huge pickup. Put an adjacent item burn shield 10, and then if this would be destroyed, or something would be destroyed, this gets destroyed instead. There's also duct tape, which could be very nice for us. So I'm going to take this, and Gear Nola has been changed. That's when you sell a tool or tech item, this gains plus 10 max HP. When you sell this, gain however max HP that has, and we get to choose our core here. So there is the ignition core. We don't get the shielding core. So maybe this is what we take, but let's look at what our board is going to be. So let's put that and that on board. So this is going to trigger our chaff. And I like the copper ed. This is like a pretty decent board, I would say. Honestly, I could probably take this plasma grenade off. And just thinking about our Gear Nola here, the force field might be so powerful that it could replace these three, but honestly, Copper Ed shielding for 25 is really nice. Wallace is gonna do a great job with our Charcole, so this package here I like a lot. Yeah, and realistically I could also take some of this off to facilitate this ignition core. Okay. Yeah, when using an item to the left of this chart, just 1 second, I will take the ignition core here. And with that, we do something like this. This and burn items to the right of this gain 2 burn for the fight. I think maybe I want to do something like this. I want to keep the rocket launcher on the left-hand side for the purposes of the ignition core, but realistically, I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like we should probably do this. And although Charcole is getting the buff from our immolating spark, the ignition core will eventually just kind of outscale that. This is kind of a tough one. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, because this is a tremendous amount of burn to start with, and then maybe we want like the lighter over on the other side of this. You don't even really need to play the chaff now that I think about it. It is representing a decent amount of shielding, but I could do something like this. And then this is a pretty fast cooldown here. This is going to charge this, or even better, I think this makes sense to me. So I have the lighter that's going to be a pretty fast immolating spark target, and then our ignition core will do good things for our rocket launcher when all these are going off. Yeah, okay, I like where we're at with that. And now I don't have a lot of money, but I certainly have a lot of things to sell. But I do think going to Finn's Big Bite here, just capitalizing off getting more max health. We're plus 65 max health where we would normally be, and we have some regen. Do I want to sell off this granola anytime soon? I do certainly have tools and tech items. Well, I'm not generating any items right now, so I don't need to make that decision currently. Unless I want more health for this Mac fight. The Mac has won on a single day. It looks like they won. Oh yeah, we're on day 2 here, so they won their first fight. Normally Macs are going to be slower than what we're doing here. We are up on health. I'd be worried about a shielding build, or maybe like a hyper regen build, but I think we scale well to beat a regen build, so I'm not going to sell off the granola. Going to be content with what we have here, and let's see what they got. All right, they're kind of like a hybrid poison regen build. Let's see, they have Thurible, they have the Spider Mace, Retort. Yeah, I believe we're going to be okay here. They are going to be producing a decent amount of regen for sure, but I believe our burn, once our rocket launcher hits like so, we're going to be a-okay. And I probably should have taken the Wallace off now that I think about it, because realistically I'm confident that a Mac is going to be poison based at this stage of the game, but it doesn't matter too much. We won the fight, so we had to have made some good decisions there. Okay, going into day 3. Ayla, I'm not too interested in Ayla. I feel like we're in a burn build here. I guess I could try and get a Armadillo specifically, because I do think our shielding build is has just all these pieces that are gonna make it very powerful if we do convert there. Like we put the Armadillo on board, we also get the chaff next to one of our burn items, like our rocket launcher, and then the Armadillo should be going off a lot, because we also have this duct tape. Yeah, that's a decent speculation. We'll go there. Oh, exactly the thing that I was talking about. Okay. I do also think upgrading the rocket launcher makes some sense here. And I will need to sell off a couple things. I don't think I'm going to be utilizing this power sander, nor am I going to be utilizing this barbed wire. And this costs 4, so I need to make 2 slots worth here. I do want the duct tape. I want all 3 of these items. I'll sell off there. Let's take the Armadillo. Nice. Okay, and a B1, B2 upgrade. I'm really in for that. So I think it's just our Armadillo here. Chaff, yeah, it's more in terms of shielding, but our Armadillo could do some real good work for us. How much work could it do on this board? So I'm thinking about how we can alter this. So whenever an item burns, so that's going to be there. I'm going to use an item to the left of this, so the Armadillo could see itself. And then we could take the charcoal off potentially. We just put this Wallace in. We have a pretty good shield triggers here. This was our primary burn dealer before that. I do want to play the force field, but we obviously don't have a lot of space for it. I'm wondering if I can defeat the giant mosquito. I'm feeling like this is pretty powerful, but the giant mosquito is also very powerful in their own right. So it's kind of scary here. Yeah, I'm just going to go, I think, for Tempest Bravo. I don't want to lose a fight at this stage of the game because I really need to level out my board here for it to be fully effective. And frankly, getting a Cinders here, Flame Dancer, Bar of Gold, all of these would be pretty good for us. And having even more burn on this rocket launcher makes some sense. We are also very reliant on our rocket launcher going off is what I'm seeing here to make sure that our Armadillo does its thing. But it's not to say that, oh, and I'm also seeing that our chaff could be a little bit differently placed. Do I sell off the force field? I think I can sell off the SMG. I don't normally like selling off the plasma grenade because it's so powerful with its slow trigger, but I'll take this fiery cutlass. And I could play the fiery cutlass, although the lighter is pretty good too. I thought this was only to the item to the left of it, but I could also do something like this. And then this is going to see 3 triggers. That's going to trigger our armadillo. And then maybe put the fiery cutlass over here. But okay. Looking at what's in front of us here, it could gain 6 regen. It could also go to middle. Middle could have some interesting items for us. I'm pretty low on space here. I could also go to the Lost Crate and get a skill. We care about damage, shielding, and fire skills. Okay, there's a lot to like there. And there's a damage skill, perfect. Okay, and a B1, B2 upgrade. Does it make sense to upgrade the cutlass or even this granola bar? I do want to play this cutlass. I guess realistically I'm doing something like this. So this is seeing these two. Then I want to play, yeah, when you use item to the left of this, do that. Armadillo goes off. I guess with our armadillo, we'd also want to be playing our charcoal, but let's see, this is at the 8-second mark, we will have triggered this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and that accounts for 10 seconds of armadilloing. It's not tremendous. I don't think I want to, I'm just thinking about this cutlass here. I don't really want to upgrade it just because ultimately I don't think I'm going to play it on our board for very long. So I want to upgrade something else. There's a chaff. There's also Wallace. I mean, upgrading the burn on this thing's not bad as well. This is all pretty inconsequential at this point, realistically. But 20 more shielding, or 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm probably going to play this chaff, so 20 more shielding, or 10 more shielding is not a bad deal here. There's also a Vol Pack there. I could sell off some of these bronze tier items, but I also like getting chocolate bars. How would I facilitate that? I guess I'd sell off this force field. Yeah, at this stage, having more max HP than our opponents is going to be pretty powerful. That's enough for getting 150 here. So yeah, sell off these, be 150 up. Now we're like 215 up in terms of where we normally would be max health wise. And this board is like a little sketchy. It's getting there in terms of where it could be in terms of power, but I'm not super sold. I'm also thinking that maybe I take this cutlass off and then put our charcoal on. That probably is just better overall. So we have 1, 2, 3 friends, and this will be going off. Yeah, this fiery cutlass, although it has 2 triggers, this lighter goes off at 3 seconds, this goes off at 6 seconds, so it's effectively the same for the purposes of our chaff. Okay, yeah, do I now, just thinking if I want to put the duct tape over here. No, because I don't think I can facilitate having this receiving the immolating spark and then having the duct tape over to the left or to the right of the rocket launcher, because I would need to move the chaff to the left of it, and then I would need to move the lighter on the other side. So I'll feel good where I'm at. I'll just fight this Pygmalion here after much deliberation and optimizing of our board. Alright, so they have 1k HP, they have the healthy hoarder skill, but they have a lot of weapons. That's interesting. Oh, I see, they have a knee brace. Well, they have a fiery cutlass. We are going to be scaling a lot of burning on our charcoal, which feels pretty good. And there's the burn. Yeah, we have a lot of damage. We would have won the fight already if they were at like a normal spot in terms of max HP, so I think we're in a pretty good place. We can see that we didn't need that 215 up in terms of max health, but it definitely made me feel a lot better going into that fight. Alright, and yeah, their build was pretty interesting. This weight saver here, on like the numbers doing their thing. Having, I think, to play a boomerang on your board never feels great, but I understand you gotta do what you gotta do. And now looking at what's in front of us here, I kind of like going to the docks. We don't have a lot of money. I could get a nice shield item. Sure, let's see what we get there. Well, this is a really good shielding item. There's also Tinker here. Yeah, let's see what Tinker has to offer. There's Micro Dave. I could pivot into Micro Dave. I do genuinely think this wetware could be very impactful if we wanted to kind of depart from what we're doing right now. We kind of saw there that we need more burn triggers to be going off for the purposes of this chaff. I kind of think that maybe putting this ignition core back on board then makes more sense and kind of abandoning a little bit of this charcoaling. So take copper red off, do this. We'd really want this sort of thing. No, we want our chaff to be like there. This is just not going to be buffing anything up is the only problem. I need like another good burn enabler. Something like this. I guess what I could do is this. And then... so these two are burning. And then do something like that. We should try that. Yeah. And yeah, we're in this weird like shielding burn build, which is a pretty cool place. And if I'm doing this, I will reroll here. If I could find another powerful friend, that'd be good. Honestly, copper red upgrade's not bad. Chem snail, I did want to try poisoning, but that's not really where we ended up. Copper red upgrade, yeah, I'm not too sold. Dinosaur can be very good. Cares about tools, relics, and dinosaurs, which, frankly, we meet the tool requirement. No, I think we're one away there. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna keep on track here. Don't need to get too complicated with it. And I feel pretty powerful. I could fight the Hellbilly. I think this is also a good fight to at least try out our build. One that I feel confident we could defeat with our previous setup or with our new setup. Yeah, we're not really triggering this ignition core to go off a ton. I do wonder, there's got to be some synergy with chaff or a build that I'm just not like fully aware of that really gets the Armadillo to pop off with this. But that being said, our Armadillo did do 480 damage, so it's still pretty good. Alright, textiles. That's a really, really powerful item. Barkin versus some more health. Yeah, I could go to Barkin here. Pylon, Dianosaur. There's this balloon bot. This is pretty interesting. When we're shielded, this basically has a 2-second cooldown. Could sell off this Cutlass. I'm gonna sell off this Ed as well. Are we really gonna wet wear? Probably not. But that's okay. Balloon botting. Could do this. Yeah, we're kind of starved for space here. The balloon bot goes in the Armadillo direction, which I think that ultimately the shield builds are going to be better in the late game than the burn builds, so I do kind of want to hedge in a way where I'm trying to get as much value as I can to, or as I should say, to try and get into a late game build and not just kind of rely on this burn damage here. So I will invest in the future. I think this can be strong. And well, let's keep moving here. Let's go to Argenta. Alright, when you level up, upgrade a lower tier item. And basically upgrade a bronze tier item. Just a critical protector. It's not a bad one either. Final dose. I'll just take the advanced synthetics. At the very worst, it's a value play. And I will go to Kina here as well. Metronome, huh? This is just a powerful item. I'll take it. And I don't think I want to go into the poison build there. A Wallace upgrade. The item to the left of this is flying hasted for 1 second. And then it gets that item to start flying. A Wallace upgrade, I mean it is on our board, so it doesn't, I think, hurt to do that. I will give up on the Charcole Dream. I'll put the Wallace upgrade on board. And then I'll think long and hard about this fight. So we're facing a Vanessa. Realistically, I could put the balloon bottom board. I could just completely give up on this ignition core, but the thing is, this chaff is what makes me want to play this setup. And realistically, maybe I take the lighter off, and that is what I could replace for the purposes of a balloon bot. I would take the lighter and the Wallace off, I suppose. Yeah, I think I'm okay for right now. This build is probably just fine. I'm wondering maybe if I do this, get the core to go off a little bit more, and then maybe I don't even need truly the burn damage over there. Could do something like this. I would be missing out on some of our burning here on the rocket launcher just because I'm not taking full advantage of the immolating spark. Okay. I do think the lighter should be on the left-hand side, though. Is there a way that I could facilitate this, I suppose? Yeah, this is probably, like, okay. Although, it's really a little bit awkward. This gets my build off the ground a little bit faster. That's probably better. But this is more powerful. This is more damage. I guess against a Vanessa who hasn't been winning, I just assume that they're probably in like some sort of weapons build, so I need the shielding probably to go off sooner rather than later instead of the scaling. So because of that, I will do this. It's going to be a little bit less damage, but I think it'll scale, or it's going to be a little bit quicker overall. Okay, enough thinking about that. Let's fight this Vanessa and see what happens. Alright, they are a sniper rifle build. And this thing is 43% crit chance. So even if this goes off once, we are not dead, because it would need to do over 1,000 damage, and it cannot. I mean, maybe they jellyfish us out, but it does crit. It's pretty fast. We'll see what happens here. The burn damage is pretty bad. Oh, okay. They almost got us there. It makes me a little concerned here because I felt like their build was not very strong. But also, yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like, again, a little concerned there. But we did survive. So let's go look at Tinker here. There's Clarence, there's Yellow Mantis, there's Dinosaur. Not too impressed with most of this here. I guess I do want to replace this lighter. Jason item burns. So I can put that on there and then it's going to create haste triggers. Alright, let's try it. Yeah, I'll do something like that. And I'm wondering if this is getting charged up a lot. We should look at that next fight. We don't have a lot of money here, so let's keep on moving. I'm just going to get a free item here. Okay, soldering gun is really good. That can be very good for the purposes of our chaff as well. So it needs to be next to a friend and a tool. I have a tool here. Do something like this. And we're giving up on our Wallace value for our Armadillo. That's probably okay. I mean, this means our ignition core is going to be going off more. We do normally want to buff this up, but it's doing 12, 18 burn right now where it is. I could also do something like this. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, and there's Mod Squad. I feel confident that I could defeat them. We aren't scaling up a burn item here. We'll see how that works out for the purposes of our build. Yeah, okay. Again, weird kind of like hybrid shielding burn build. It's not something that I've done before, so that's exciting for me. That being said, transitioning into Bulldozer is not off the table here, because I think Bulldozer is incredibly strong. That is a good amount of burn. Let's check to see how many times these things all went off. Okay, so they have 1200 health. This went off 4 times, 6 times. This did 200 shielding. Okay, that's decent. 36 burn over here too. Let's see what we get. Hey, Chris, welcome. Love to see you. I'll sell this Wallace off. I'll take the Chris. Okay, Andy could have some interesting upgrades for us. Bomb Squad's okay. Again, there's like the subset of hasting in the burn build, so that is interesting. I don't think I want to utilize this lighter. I'm also just thinking about for the purposes of Gearnola selling off our tool and tech items. I could buy this. I'm generally not too much of a fan of Mod Squad, although it does count as a haste trigger. Or Bomb Squad, rather. I'm going to reroll Hamlet, Laser Pistol, Dinosaur. No, I don't want those. Okay, 8 gold for our friends. Sure, why not? And there's Curio. Let's see what Curio has for us. There's this Rocket Boots, which is not horrible pickup here. I I don't know that I want to go into this too much, but I guess a bludgeon improvement for the duct tape and then rocket boots is certainly good enough. I'm also thinking about this textiles. This thing, if we can find a healing avenue, is probably very strong. So, slow an item for 3 seconds is very good. And additionally, hasting 2 items for 2 seconds is way better. I will roll here. See what we can find. Okay, there's a salamander pup. I do like that. Guess it goes on our soldering gun. Sell that off there. Yeah, I'm wondering if I switch up the position of these like so. That could be nice. Adjacent item burns. Do that. Go back to this build. Yeah, we'll try this. And some crit damage, not bad. Put that there. Also getting the Junkyard Club here. Represents 18 damage. Or 8. Yeah. 16 damage. There you go. And then Coconut Medkit. Gaining more regen. Yeah, you know, 10 max HP. We'll see if it helps. And I don't know, again, where the point is where we want to sell this off. I think if we're in like a dire straits position, we would want to do that, or if we see someone who's winning a lot. That being said, I don't think we need to sell it off just yet. We can get even more value off this thing. I guess I'm also realistically not playing this wetware. You know, we could find like mid's worth and sell it off for more value. I'm a really, really big proponent of trying to maximize off of the value of your items within selling them. Okay, another sniper rifle build. And they're also a burn build. This one has lifesteal. I think if it crits, that's certainly not going to be good. The beach ball can't target this. We did hit it with a slow, which feels good. Just hoping it doesn't crit, but we'll see what happens either way. I think this is a good fight for us to have scaled the burn on our rocket launcher. We have a lot of burn on them, okay. Well, we weren't able to defeat them before like that 12-second mark, but they did have this Mr. Richardson, which shielded for a bunch, and they had a pretty good amount of health, so we survived. And we keep on surviving into day 5 again, or into day 6 rather here. Our build is a little all over the place, but I think it's not a bad one. And we do not upgrade the Granola here. Looks like we've upgraded something else. Oh, the metronome? I don't know. Upgraded item of a lower tier. I don't know what we upgraded. That's okay. Let's go to JJ here. A launch pad. When you use a friend or flying item, burn 2. And item starts flying. I've seen this be very good. It just takes some time to get it going, and it's really good with the launcher core. That's not what we have. We're not really making a lot of flying things happen in general, so I think it could be good. Oh, there's Bulldozer. I like pivoting into that. How do we facilitate buying it? So we have 8, and this would be 8, 12, 16, 20, 23. So we would genuinely have to give up something on our board. I don't want to give up anything on my board. But Bill is good. Maybe Bill's not even better than what we're doing. Could also just take this light bulb. I mean, this pays for itself. Definitely gonna take the light bulb. But wanted to give us dart launcher, huh? Yeah. Alright. There's better gold items. I'm not gonna go on Bill. And then maybe it could be in Paul. Bill says, what about me though? I don't want to do it. Okay. Realistically, if we pick this up, we don't have a board to support it, is what I'm thinking. And if I hit this reroll button here to try and look for another large gold tier item that is only available at this day, I would be even further away from picking it up. I think Pylon is very good. because now it has these slow and haste triggers all at the same time, but we're not in that build. I do think we want like a bunker or something like that, which I'm unsure if that is even available at gold tier. I am going to hit this button because I do think that there's enough that we could try and pivot into. Party float. When you use a flying item, shield 50, your flying items are cooldowns are reduced by 10%. Although this is good, we don't have the way to actually take full advantage of it. There is the Mamasaur here, but we're not in a dinosaur build. You also like the crane though. When using an adjacent large item, this gains 30 damage, and then it just gets scaled very quickly in terms of damage, but I think these are not what we want. We wanted, again, the bunker. Okay, well, I could sell this and this. Guess that's gonna be good for a Gearnola. I could have waited, but I didn't. I do see Lone Shark over here. And yeah, I feel confident we could defeat them. I say like 80% confident. But getting something like an ATM, getting the Shark Ray. I mean, honestly, the Shark Ray and us pivoting into a haste build I think could be very real. Unsure if that's what we want to do, but just trying to keep ourselves open here. And this thing is getting pretty big. We are doing a decent amount of shielding on our board at least. The burn there is pretty good. This has no crit on it, so yeah, defeat them. It's always scary with the Lone Shark, you know? Okay, let's see what we get here. Okay, Shark Ray, sure. There's Sterling. There's also Kev's Armory. You know, let's take a look at Bazaar.gg for a second. So I think it'd be very important for us to understand what items we could be looking for here. So let's go to Dooley. We could go to Shield. And then let's click gold tier here. Well, I guess gold doesn't matter too much. Oh, I see gold in. No, I don't care about that. Gold. There we go. So there's Chrono Barrier, Combat Core. Combat Core is kind of interesting. Dino Saddle. No, Dualtron. There's Tanky Anky. Your dinosaurs deal damage shield for that amount. So Bunker, I believe, is at Diamond tier. Dinosaurs deal damage shield for that amount. It's not bad. Not bad at all. How about just click the diamond button? Oh, okay. So how about shield reference? So Angry Balloon Bot. Okay, now the bunker is at gold tier. That is what I want to get. It says that your shield items have +1 multicast. You know, realistically, our shield items would have +1 multicast, but does the chaff go off twice? I don't know that it would work like that. We'd have to see. I think I'd be interested in taking it either way, though. There's also probably just enough to go to Kev's for me to feel good about it. Though I, again, have 8 gold. And there's a Sterling. Yeah. I would have the money to buy the bunker, because I would be able to sell off the Shark Ray and all these other things. But I could also just put more on this Armadillo. You know, also getting this to 8 seconds is going to be very advantageous for us. It's 50 damage and 8 seconds. And also here's an upgrade for our core, which I think could be pretty good, getting this to 6 seconds. Okay, and there's Curio versus Pearl's Dig Site. Well, I love Pearls, so DJ Circuit Breaker, Palanquin, Laser Security System. These are all very powerful items. I mean, realistically, Circuit Breaker into Shark Ray is a plan. And it's a plan that I think is not a bad one. It's not what we're going to be doing right now, but it is a good backup here. And at this point, putting 100 max HP on our board does make sense to me. We also have this package here, just this metronome. And then if we can get that going with, you know, 4 other slots, I think we have a pretty good late game build shaping up in our backpack. We don't need to play it right now. So just double checking that. Balloon Bot, do we want to do this? I think we're in a pretty decent position where we're at right now. This Ignition Core going down to 6 seconds and the Armadillo going to 8 is pretty good. So let's fight this Vanessa here, see what happens. Let's see what they got. There's a lot of different viable builds on Vanessa. So they have a Cutlass, Fiery Cutlass, Cauterizing Blade. So their Cauterizing Blade build. They're trying to do a lot of slowing, which they have over here. They also have gotten a lot of health off this arms dealer, it looks like. So we're going to need our shielding to come through here. The Cauterizing Blade is a very powerful item. And the slowing is pretty good against what we're doing too. They did get a crit on us, but We have a little too much damage for them. And again, I'm thinking about how much plus max HP we were up. And realistically, even with our plus max HP, having that buff to us, we would have still won that fight if we did not have it. So, feeling pretty confident there. And I like going to a mysterious portal here. Could be anything. Okay, jewels. Jewels is interesting. There's pickled peppers. There's also knife set. I do like the knife set. That being said, these aren't really hasting things. Although the knife set could work very well with this sort of thing that we're trying to do. I'll take it. I'll invest in the future here. I don't want to reroll there. It's a little too much for me. I'm going to Tinker, sure. Tanky Yankee. When your dinosaurs deal damage, shield for that amount. This is not a dinosaur, though. There's also first aid in. I'm going to sell this balloon bot. I guess I'd want to use a lot of friends as the only thing, so maybe this knife set actually doesn't make sense. I will take the aid in, though. Regardless, I think that this build that we're creating up here would benefit from an aid in. And I would roll here as well. Miss Isles is very strong. It's 4-second. Yeah, we don't need to take it. I do like the Walter Cooler, though. It's just like something that we could use to passively farm a fight and gain some good max health. So we'll take it. Here's a fight we can certainly farm. Sergeant Suds. So we don't need to do that necessarily. Because I do think going to Ghost Pepper could be good. I don't believe we defeat the Thug. Going to Ghost Pepper here. Let's see what they have. So we're on day 7. Yeah, Ghost Pepper. When you burn, gain 2 regen. It's really good. I mean, Gold Tier Cinders too. Yeah, I think we just want to take this fight. So I'm not going to change up our board. Probably going to need to sell this knife set to make space. I could just put the Walter Cooler on board. Unsure how relevant it would be. That's okay. I don't need to fret too much about missing out on that value. Yeah, Heat Lover I think would be pretty good for us. Also just putting like +3 burn over here, +12 would make a lot of sense. I'm also wondering if I take this rocket launcher off and try and put some better items here, because this is being an 8-second cooldown is just really, really slow. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. It would have to be next to a friend and a tool, which we're not necessarily facilitating right now. Nice Heat Lover. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Okay, Quixel. Yeah, I'll put a Quixel here. Pierre Cooler. I do like a Pierre Cooler. That's okay. Oh my gosh. Pierre Cooler. We just got the Nitrogen Hammer. Oh, I'm going to take the Fiber Optics because that is very good. Yeah, realistically, Fiber Optics is one that we'd want. I could go for haste and charge skills. What's this kind of looking like? We want to do this. We're not there just yet. This. And we would want something to like be charged by hasting over here. Could do something like this. I guess actually it'd be this. And then we're gonna be hasting like here. Something like that. Yeah, we have a haste build certainly in here somewhere. But we're not there just yet. So we could get there, but our build on board is certainly defensible. I think going to a gold tier skill here makes some sense. First 5 times you burn each fight, charge a shield item. So that'd be charging our duct tape and only that. So that's the first time you use an item each fight. Haste 2 burn items for 2 seconds. Yeah, you know, we have to kind of get under our opponents with our current build, so I think that will be good for us. There's also the ability to get like a Race Carl. Race Carl, Dark Gray. Yeah, we don't have a lot of money though. Just gonna get a free relic here. Magic Carpet, sure. Sell this Walter. Take the carpet. Take the carpet. There we go. And yeah, do we need to change anything? I think our build's okay. This is where I would expect things to get a little bit dangerous, just because I'm not too confident in how we have set up our board for the late game, but we're not at the late game just yet. Okay, they have a Runic Blade. That's very scary. They certainly have a good crit build. They have 2k HP. I have a feeling this thing is going to one-shot us if given the opportunity. And it certainly looks like it's going to be getting there. Yeah. Yeah, this thing is a pretty nasty item. And this is kind of the difference of where I want to be versus where I am. If we face an opponent who has like one of these super scaling gold tier items, then it's not going to work out well for us. Flambe, alright. I could enchant my soldering gun. Could also just upgrade it. I could upgrade my ignition core. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, upgrading the ignition core is not bad. Could also enchant my ignition core. That could be rather interesting. I do want to try that. And this leads us to a tough decision. I'm also wondering if I just put this Aiden on board. Anyway, I am feeling like I've done the haste build a lot. I would have to sell out of it. I'd have to sell out of the Shark Ray. Am I really willing to do that? Not really. I think that if we're trying to play for a powerful board, then we probably should have never clicked this button, but it just makes for the most sense for us to still keep investing in the haste build. So I'm just going to upgrade this to diamond tier. This is a very good item, don't get me wrong. It probably means that we realistically want to replace like this, and this. Like these are the only two items that really stand out to me as being like super strong. Here's also Aerodrome. Yikes, okay. This is where I really have to make a tough decision. Yeah, I think it's the right call. Going for an expedition ticket. There's also Kev's Armory. I'm gonna sell out of this. I think I want to try something different. Getting a ticket could allow us to kind of like get an item that we exactly need for some sort of burn build. Again, I'm not confident that like this is the end all be all what we're trying to do here, but I do want to try something new. Also just thinking about this fiber optics here. We could do something like this. Now it needs to be next to a friend. So how do we facilitate this? I want the fiber optics. This is a pretty good source of damage. And this charges this. I do think we want to be charging it. We would not be hasting our board at all. But soldering gun going off, charging here. Okay. Alright, with all that, let's fight the Oasis Guardian, try and get some of our money back. I could have gone to the burning character, the burning monster, which is probably the better decision. But realistically, I think the Oasis Guardian has like the more literal highest value items that we could sell. So I'd like taking this. And that is a very large amount of burn over there. So I am feeling like the Armadillo is kind of having its time coming to an end here. Although it did do 1,000 damage. Maybe I'm speaking too soon here. Alright, we get the least valuable item there. Deflect. Yikes. So we could sell this. That would be enough to upgrade. Specifically, we put an upgrade on Chaff. I'm not going to sell the ticket. Could also sell this. No, these charge each other back and forth. I think I really just want to upgrade this fiber optics. I'm just going to take a shield item here. Seems crazy to do, to pass up on that, but I need the money because I know that I need to realistically upgrade my board in a different way. And that being said, I am just going to take the 5 gold here and fight this Vanessa. We are on the cusp of power, and my goal here is to get to the temple, get my level 10, and then also get a maybe like powerful relic that could enchant one of our items with burn. Our opponent has a ton of damage. We'll see how this one goes. We're kind of in our scaling build. Their shuriken went off, but it didn't kill us. Okay, nice. It wasn't guaranteed that we win that fight by any stretch of the imagination, so glad we did. And this is this a shiny now? Okay. Yeah, they're just a weapon spam Vanessa on day 9. Or day 8, rather. And we still get there, so I'll take that. Let's go to the expedition here. With that, I guess you could go to the Path of Flame and then go to the Boulder Trap. I believe we're going to be fast enough for this. They do have a lot of health, but as we saw, we put on a pretty good amount of damage. They're going to be slowing our board a lot, I guess, is one thing, but I believe we'll still be okay. The burn is ticking pretty hard here. They do have 2 boulders, so we'd be pretty dead if they went off, but I mean, yeah, we're certainly fast enough to defeat them. And let's see what we get here. So go to our vaults. Okay, insect wing I like. Medkit, cinders, bar gold. I can sell this bar. I'll take this. And yeah, let's go to the Myth Keeper. Just take no chances here. We'll sell that off there. I believe that we could defeat the Myth Keeper. But do I want to utilize this insect wing? No, I want to see what we get for our level 10 and also see what we get for our relic before I decide what we want to reduce the cooldown of. If we get like I don't remember what the burn relic is called, but if we get that one, I think we'll be in a good position and could probably incorporate that on our board. Do they have a self-poisoning item? They do. Okay, venomous dose. I was like, how am I poisoned? Okay, let's see what we get here. The Zoot Flute. Interesting. Yeah, Cinder is on our soldering gun. Probably the place to be. Not really critting. Anyway, Tranquil Springs. You can also sell off this ticket now. Versus slowing. We don't have anything that cares too much about slowing, but it is a very powerful effect. So just feeling like we put this Tranquil Springs on our Armadillo. Although, let's see how these other things scale. So, I'm thinking about our soldering gun. Where heal equal to 5 times this item's burn. It's pretty good. I'm also thinking about the ignition core. This 5 times this item's burn. Okay, those are all very good. And I don't think I want to be playing the rocket launcher realistically. Equal to its damage, sure. If only I had kept that textiles, this could be even better. So 5 times this burn is 60. Well, yeah, 60. It's just healing for 180 every time it goes off. It's not more than the Armadillo. Versus this, I mean, this gets pretty big, but I think if we can do this, that'll provide us with some good healing. Look if we can find a way to scale our damage through that, that'd be even better. There's the Darkstone engine. We didn't hit what I was wanting to hit, but that's okay. Ice Watch Warden's also pretty good. Freezing's not bad. Could also just enchant something with poison. Let's start if each fight enchant a non-enchanted item with obsidian. I just don't see us playing this on our board anytime soon. I could reduce the cooldown of the Armadillo. Yeah, medkit, sure, why not? Sell this off. Do I want to play this? This is a slow item. It's also a slow crit item. Yeah, I think I'm just like putting poison on our ignition core. I guess so. I really wanted to do something a little more powerful than this, but you do what you gotta do. So let's put poisoning. You know, I wonder if this is actually better on the soldering gun. This I think will at least scale a little bit better. If, and like the best case scenario. Although this would have poisoned for 36. Anyway, so the restorative Armadillo, yeah, I think it makes sense just to get this a little bit faster. And I could have even put it on our ignition core. Okay. Not feeling too confident, but we'll see what our opponents are doing. We do at least have this healing armadillo, which is pretty nice. Okay, so they're on an Oni mask build. They have a shielded Darkwater Anglerfish. It's pretty good. They don't have like a tremendous amount of slow triggers at the very least. They're kind of a little middle between those. Normally you don't, I feel like, see the Anglerfish and the Oni mask, or and the card table, I guess. Okay, we're doing pretty decent here.
Like my crew says at the bar.
I feel like if this card table was something else, I would have been a little more scared. Generally, if you're just hitting the Illusory for another time, it's not too good, but either way, we win that fight. And on to day 10. We have a lot of gold here. Let's go to Ayla. Billista. Done it 1,000 times. Let's not do it again here. I also like Rex Specs, but well, not gonna do these things. Terry. This starts or stops flying. When this stops flying, deal 2,000 damage. When you use a dinosaur, flying item charges 2 seconds. We certainly did not go into that build. I have like 80 gold, so I'm like, if I ever get there, this thing is crazy. Yeah, I don't have the core for it. Just gonna save my gold. There's Kevs. Chrono Barrier. Tanky Yankee. Well, if we had taken the Terry, could have done this, but I don't think that would have even been that powerful. So, Pyrocarbon's interesting. When you burn with an adjacent item, shield 60 and haste an item for 2 seconds. I don't know how we're putting that on their board, but I'm confident that that is good. Okay, let's leave this encounter. So, then like this needs to be next to a tool and a friend is the only thing. Well, we have this. And so everything is on the wrong side of our ignition core. Yeah, this is good. Just need to figure out how to facilitate it. Okay. So we want realistically these sort of things to be happening. When you burn with an adjacent item, shield and haste an item for 2 seconds. We'd be giving up on one trigger here if we did this. So we still need a tech item, or we need a tool rather. So still beat this. Is there a way to facilitate this? No, because we need it to be a tool and a friend. I guess it would be that. We could also take the fiber optics off. It seems foolish though. We could just put this chaff on. Kind of tricky here. I need like a small burning item. That scales well. That's not this. Also wondering, okay, we have one tool. At least for the purposes of this fight, I don't need to get too crazy. Hasting an item for 2 seconds is just very good. So I do want to play this. I feel like this is, again, not ideal. Because yeah, this has to be an adjacent item. It'd literally have to be Chris. Let's try this. Let's see how this works. That being said, who do I fight to test it? The hulking experiment. They have nothing that I want, but I just want to make sure that I win and I try something out. So, we also gave up on the chaff here. And realistically, we also gave up on the fiber optics. So it's like pretty okay. Hasting is certainly very good. And they had less health than what our opponents would even have. Okay. Noxious potion. This is generally going to be core related skills. So let's go there. First 10 times you burn each fight, haste your core for 2 seconds. Exactly 1 friend. That could be very good. Adjacent weapons. Yikes. Well, I mean, we'll put 90 damage on this thing every time. But I think what we want to do is this. And then we want to do this, this. Could even do this. Again, I really would like to have a different burn item here. Maybe that's what I search for. Yeah, okay. Let's go to Goldie. The bunker. I do want to test just to see if this does the thing that I want it to do, which is 2 triggers here. So, just for the purposes of seeing how this works, I'm very curious. I will buy this. I'm unsure if we play it. There's also scrap metal. Reduce your life most items cooldown. That's very good too. Okay, we didn't find the burn item we were looking for. Let me just see this. Yeah, it does not work the way that I thought it would. Or that I wanted it to, rather. And... Okay, there's medium items. Guess we could try and hunt for this upgrade. Or that upgrade. I mean, that's not bad at all. You can sell that off. Take this. Thermal Lance is interesting. This is hasted. This gains 12 burn for the fight. Certainly good. Okay, so if we were to really maximize here, could do these things. And could also put like a chaff here. Probably want to do this. And could even just put this rocket launcher here. So we would not be using the pyrocarbon, but well, yeah, we'd also not be utilizing our buddy system either. Okay. So this, let's go back to kind of what we were doing before. So this here. I believe that's what we had before. We're not going to be taking advantage of our pyrocarbon. And you sell this, upgrade your leftmost item. 6 tools or tech items. I mean, I could do that, but I do want to ensure that we are being as powerful as we can. Yeah, just gonna sell this off right now. I could maximize here, but let's not get too crazy with it. Propeller at the start of each fight. Core starts flying. Okay. So we're not in a bad spot by any stretch of the imagination. I just feel like we're not maximizing the way that we need to. We are getting still our triggers here. And that's well enough. Well and good. And this will be charging this. We have significantly reduced the cooldown of our board, which is nice. And let's see what they got. Toxic solar farm, interesting. Okay, so they're going to be trying to burn us out. They have a cauterizing blade, a lighter, shot glasses, pop snappers. So they're creating a lot of regen. And our build is not at the point where we're like permanently utilizing the armadillo, but we're not bad by any stretch of the imagination in terms of our damage output. Okay. Well. Yeah. Feeling like their board wasn't that powerful, to be frank. But that's okay. So, weapons. Let's see if I could get an upgrade here. There's also cybersecurity. This cares about tech items going off. Yeah. It's okay. There's Z sword. I don't have a large item though, so skip out on that. Barkin. Barkin doesn't sell small items. They do have medium items. Schematics, no. Unstable grav, well. All your items start flying. Destroy this in an item with no combat. Okay. No cooldown. Alright. Well, all this being said, where do we go? Master Alchemist, not too interested. I mean, Frost Street Champion could have interesting things for us, but the Trash Titan, we could get this Juggler skill, or we could also just get this Catalyst and probably do some good things for us. And I do still want to figure out a way to play the Pyrocarbon, but I'm not seeing it right now. Hasting our board would be very strong. I do think that the Fiber Optics rocket launcher is very good, and maybe that's, if we can upgrade that, that would really be the thing to do. Alright, just take the gold here. No, let's take the loot. That could be a gold tier loot, and it is. Okay, so there's Paul. Not too sold on any specific Paul item that I'm looking for. Just gonna go to Lost and Found here. Big red button, sure, why not? And I will try and hunt for this Fiber Optics upgrade. Right there, okay. Glad we went. And Hologram Projector. Transforms into a copy of another small non-legendary item you have. We are kind of relying a little bit too much, not too much, but we have too many small items that this could kind of hit anything and it would not necessarily be good. I think this Fiber Optics upgrade was a very big get for us, because now I think we're going to be in the territory that our Armadillo is really going to be charging our rocket launcher very well. And then they're also going to go back and forth. So, okay, there's a Stell. I'm sorry, Pyrocarbon, I'm sorry. But let's fight this Stell, see what they're doing. Stells can be pretty scary in the late game. And generally they are like all in on one big large item, like a Stellar Swallowtail. Which one is this one? Oh, it's this one, okay. So yeah, hasting items is good for them, and this can't really be slowed. So we're not kind of like ping-ponging back and forth like I thought we would. Oh, you know what? Is this charging this thing the way that it should be? We just won. I'm like, is our board doing what it needs to be doing? I want to watch that again. Is this, did I just have this in the wrong position? Unless this is not doing what it should be doing. Let's replay that for a second. So this goes off. No, they were just not on the right cooldowns. Yeah, if anything, I think this just wasn't going off a ton, so it didn't really matter too much. Okay, well, either way, we got our 10 win. And yeah, we did a pretty good amount of damage to our opponent. Wasn't even paying attention to what they were doing to us. I was just more so focused on if our board was doing it what it needed to do. But a pretty interesting build on Dooley. I've genuinely never played the shield burn build, and I really didn't expect to be on our day, what is it, 12 or day 11 victory, 13? I forget how these work. Regardless, I wasn't expecting to have the rocket launcher on our board at the end of all this. That was pretty surprising to me. But this restorative armadillo did what it needed to do. Toxic ignition core. Frankly, like, you know, I spent all this time trying to say that our board wasn't good enough, but it did what it needed to do. Although I'm going to be frank with you, I don't think that a lot of the builds that we played against our opponents are like the legend builds that I would normally expect to see in the Bazaar. I feel like we got lucky with some of our opponents who are not doing like the crazy over-the-top powerful stuff, but that's how the ranking system works now. We are only going to be facing bronze and silver people while we're at bronze and silver. So it is what it is. Either way, let's open some 10 chests here, because it's always fun to do, and see if we can get maybe like a board or some cool skins. Don't tempt me, force field. Okay, got these cool things here. I got a blue beetle, a scarab stash. Pretty nice. Anyway, all this said, I appreciate you joining me here for another episode of the Bazaar Over Explained. I am the Bazaar Whisperer. If you like what I do, you could like, you could subscribe, but I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening. Bye-bye.